This is the Nile River, the longest river in the world. The 64-kilometer-long river runs from its source in Uganda all the way up to Egypt. Its basin covers an area of 3.18 million square kilometers, almost 10% of the African continent. But land grabbing, foreign business and agribusiness in this basin threaten water access for Africans. Up to 16,900 square kilometers of land from 445 individual deals have been concluded in the 11 Nile basin countries, and up to 10.3 million hectares of land have been acquired by investors in 11 countries that form the Nile basin countries since 2000, according to the Land Matrix, an independent global land monitoring initiative. Several countries have acquired land in the Nile basin. These range from countries outside of Africa investing in land, as well as those investors registered within Africa, also known as regional investors. Land Matrix Projects shows some of these countries to include Austria, Belgium, Brazil, China, Ethiopia, India, Israel, Norway, Saudi Arabia, UK, USA, and others. Most of these investors are acquiring land for growing food crops, non-food agri-commodities such as tobacco, biofuels, livestock, timber, plantation, and other products they ship back home. These projects consume massive amounts of water, straining the Nile's natural withdrawal limits. In Ethiopia, flower-growing investors displace 3,000 people annually. In Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates are using huge amounts of water to grow alfalfa to feed their animals back home. In Uganda, forestry companies that say they are fighting climate change have deprived local communities of access to food. Profits go mainly to the foreign companies while local people suffer. While much public attention has been on land deals by foreign investors, most land grabs are actually by individuals who encroach on protected or private lands. In Uganda, for example, River Rizi, a lifeline river for over 4 million people in southwestern Uganda, has had up to 80% of its water dry up as a result of land acquisitions by individual Ugandans. And in Rwanda, Tanzania, and Uganda, River Kagera, which forms part of the upper headwaters of the Nile, has also not been spared by private individuals. Most parts of this river's banks have been turned into crop gardens and plantations. In South Sudan, most of the land that had been grabbed by foreign companies for oil mining and agricultural production is lying idle due to insecurity. In Kenya, the number of land deals that have been signed and concluded since the year 2000 stand at 11. And also, disputes over acquisition of land for dam construction remain one of the contentious issues in the Nile basin. The Upper Atbara and Setit Dam complex on River Atbara displaced up to 30,000 people. Most of these land deals oftentimes involve big, powerful companies and local poor communities. The script almost certainly reads the same across the Nile. Usually, the community is very minimally involved in such deals, if at all. Anything approaching consultations of any nature generally takes the shape of engaging 2 or 3 handicapped community elders and the political elite. Land deals along River Nile could easily impair its recharging potential if water abstraction is not regulated. A question remains of how can the Nile's waters be used for benefit to all.